Today, we're looking at three important figures in ancient Rome: Pompey the Great, Marcus Junius Brutus, and Julius Caesar. Their stories are like a big drama of alliances, rivalries, and friendships that changed history. Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus, or Pompey the Great, was once Rome's greatest general. A brilliant strategist and warrior, he expanded Roman rule across the Mediterranean and crushed Rome's enemies. He formed the first triumvirate with Julius Caesar and Crassus, an alliance meant to dominate Roman politics. The alliance was strong when Pompey married Caesar's daughter, Julia. For a while, they worked together to achieve their goals. But things fell apart when Julia died in childbirth in 54 BCE. Pompey, once Caesar's ally, became his greatest enemy. While Pompey stayed in Rome, Caesar went to Gaul and built a strong army. His victories made him a hero to his troops, but a threat to many in the Senate, including Pompey. As Crassus died and Julia's death ended their personal bond, the alliance between Caesar and Pompey broke down. By 49 BCE, tensions turned into civil war. When the Senate ordered Caesar to disband his army, he crossed the Rubicon River with his troops, an act that declared war on Pompey. The civil war between Caesar and Pompey was brutal. At first, Pompey seemed to have the upper hand. He had the Senate's support and control of Rome's navy. But Caesar was quick and strategic. The decisive moment came at the Battle of Pharsalus in 48 BCE. Despite being outnumbered, Caesar's forces defeated Pompey's army. Defeated and humiliated, Pompey fled to Egypt, but was betrayed and assassinated, a tragic end for one of Rome's greatest generals. Julius Caesar was a military genius and a masterful politician. He expanded Rome's territories through his conquest of Gaul and secured the loyalty of his legions. But his growing power made the Senate uneasy. When he crossed the Rubicon in 49 BCE, he declared war on the Republic itself. Caesar defeated Pompey and took control of Rome, declaring himself dictator for life. Though he implemented reforms and brought stability, many feared he aimed to crown himself king. His rule threatened the Republic's ideals, making him a target for those who wished to restore Rome's traditional government. Marcus Junius Brutus was a man of ideals, torn between loyalty and duty. Born into a powerful family in 85 BCE, Brutus initially disliked Pompey for killing his father. But when civil war broke out between Caesar and Pompey, Brutus sided with Pompey to protect the Republic from Caesar's growing power. After Pompey's defeat at Pharsalus, Caesar surprisingly pardoned Brutus. This act brought Brutus into Caesar's inner circle. But as time passed, Brutus grew unhappy with Caesar's rule as dictator for life. He felt Rome was losing its freedom. In 44 BCE, alongside Cassius and other senators, Brutus struck Caesar down in the Senate chamber, famously declaring, "Sic semper tyrannis," thus always to tyrants. The assassination threw Rome into chaos. Some saw Brutus as a hero who saved the Republic. Others saw him as a traitor who killed his friend. Brutus and his allies fled east, gathering forces to challenge Mark Antony and Octavian, Caesar's heir. At the Battle of Philippi in 42 BCE, Brutus met his end. With his forces defeated, he fell on his sword. His final words a lament for Rome: "O wretched virtue, you were but a name." The relationships between these three men were complicated. At one point or another, they were allies working toward common goals. Pompey once trusted Caesar enough to marry his daughter. Brutus admired both men but ultimately turned against them. Caesar saw himself as a friend to both, but became their enemy through ambition. Friendship often turned into rivalry when power was at stake in ancient Rome. In the end, all three men met tragic fates. Pompey was betrayed by those he trusted. Caesar was stabbed by those he trusted most. And Brutus took his own life after losing everything he fought for. Their stories remind us that ambition can unite people, but it can also tear them apart. These three men didn't just shape their own destinies, they shaped Rome itself. Subscribe for more.